I enlisted in the U.S. Navy, 1944. I didn't like anything concerned with the Army or the Marines because they were always crawling around in dirt. I wanted to be on a ship with a lot of water. In my time, when you turned 18, we had a draft. Anybody that was 18 or over, I think up to 35, had to sign up with the draft, and then they'd call you when they needed you. But when I signed up, I just told them I'm ready to go. So it was like a voluntary enlistment. When I got in the Navy, they sent me to boot camp in Sampson, New York. Cold in January, very cold. And stayed in boot camp for a month. And then they ask you, what part of the Navy do you want to be in? You want to be a cook? You want to be a seaman? You want to do this or that? I said, I want to go into the Air Corps. So they sent me to the Air Corps. I went to aviation radio school, learning dots and dashes, the Morse code. And then from there, the Navy came out with a secret radar equipment that only a certain few knew how to use it. So they picked 7 people, 7 sailors from our group. I was one of them. I was sent to California on a little island called San Clemente. The only way you can get on there is with a ship. I was there for about a little over a month, maybe 5 weeks, and I learned this secret equipment. When we were finished, they took us and put us on a plane and flew us to Hawaii, where we waited. The next morning, we were put on a ship, an aircraft carrier. We were sent to Okinawa, and that's where they put us. The squadron was FPV 118, and I was in that squadron with the other 6 sailors. And I used to fly every 3rd day using this special equipment. We were both 16 at the time, and we went to a basketball game from our high school. My best friend was there with another girl. Helen, my soon-to-be wife, liked my best friend. She didn't care for me at all. The game ended, my best friend took his girl home. My girl, Helen, was standing there. Everybody was going, and she's standing there. I walked over, and I said, can I walk you home? She said, fine. And then after that, we were in the same school. We used to meet, and we started going together. And I told her that I'm going into the Navy. And if I come back in one piece, maybe we'll get married. And I came back in a couple of pieces, but we got married. We made bombing runs over by Japan. We used to go along the South China Sea, and if we saw a ship there, we used to bomb it. But this ship, this time, this mission, there was a ship in the water. The pilot said, I'm going down to take a look at the ship. And we came close to the ship. As soon as we got close, the sides of the ship dropped down. And there was guns on every side, and anything, as more guns as you want to see. And they shot us. They shot us down. Crash landed in the South China Sea, and the Japanese ship was coming for us. 3 rafts came out and landed in the water. One was a little too far for me to swim to. I didn't feel my legs. I didn't know if I had legs. There was a sailor behind me. He says, don't worry, I'll get you to the raft. He pushed me, swam up, pushed me, swam up, until he got me to the raft. 2 sailors were on the raft. It was me and this guy behind me. They started to pull me on the raft. The guy on the raft looked at my leg. It was blown open. He could put his fist in there. He said, I gotta get the medical supplies. The raft is upside down. So we're gonna have to throw you back in the water, turn the raft over, and get the medical supplies. I says, no way in hell are you gonna get me back in that water. He says, okay, don't worry. He dove off the raft, went underneath, got all the medical supplies, brought it on top, and then they treated me with first aid until we were rescued.
There was 13 and less than half survived, and he was one of the survivors, and I think of the survivors, he's one that got pretty badly wounded. He was the best. He was fun, he was fair, he was everything you could ask for in a dad. Provided for us, he kept the peace. I think he's just a real humble guy, and when ever anybody says thank you for your service, he really feels like, what service? What did I do? I think he's just the most humble, warm person I've ever known. And he's Dad. He's my daddy.
To know about me? What's there to know about me? I'm just an ordinary guy who loved his country, gave his blood for his country, and would do it again for this country.